Hey friends, I'm Dr. B.B. Rao of Usha Clinic and founder of the websites viewmedicaldoubts.blogspot.in and Dr. Raghava medicaldoubts.in. Through these videos, I am providing the basic knowledge about the commonly occurring diseases, treatments, and surgery details when necessary for the medical knowledge to general people and for reference to medicals. Today I am going to discuss about the rheumatic fever symptoms, diagnosis and treatment. Rheumatic fever is an inflammatory disease usually develops after infection with the strep throat or scarlet fever. It usually affects the children between 5 and 15 years of age. It affects the joints, heart, skin and brain. Symptoms. Onset is sudden, abdominal pain, fever, nosebleeds, swelling and pain of joints, usually knee, ankle, elbow and wrist joints. Subcutaneous nodules may be present. Fever. Fever is usually acute, variable degree and duration, with sweating, skin rash of circles and snakes-like, lastly involuntary movements of the face and limbs. Tachycardia. It is out of proportion to the fever and continues after the fever has subsided. Sleeping pulse rate is not reduced with the rest, as in anxiety and excitement. Polyarthritis. It is common in adults. The large joints, knees, ankle, shoulder, wrist and any joint can be involved. The joints are swollen, hot, red and very tender. The synovium and periarticular tissues are peripherally principally involved. Migrating polyarthritis. The pain moves from one joint to other. One improves as the other becomes worse. Once the acute attack is over, there is no residual effect. Carditis. It is characterized by endocarditis, pericarditis, myocarditis or by any combination of these. Carditis may occur without any evidence of rheumatic fever. Endocarditis. It is early stage. It is identified by a diminished first heart sound or from development of systolic murmur. A transient diastolic murmur may also be heard. Pericarditis. When there is fever with malaise, restlessness and pallor, retrosternal pain with pericardial friction rub may be heard. It usually occurs as a complication of carditis. Myocarditis. It is assumed to be present if there is endocarditis or pericarditis, but it is difficult to recognize clinically. Active myocarditis is suggestive by undue tachycardia, decreased intensity of first heart sound, enlarged heart, cardiac failure and abnormal ECG. That is prolongation of PR and QT intervals. Rheumatic nodules. These occur in children only and indicates the association with carditis. They are present subcutaneously and are painless, not attached to the skin and tend to occur over bony prominences or attached to the tendons. Erythema marginata or erythema annulare. Reddish patches appear mainly on the trunk and rapidly enlarge to form irregular crescent shapes which join together to form large areas. The margins are slightly elevated. These fade and reappear. Erythema nodosa. It is an occasional manifestation of rheumatic fever. streptococcal infection, sarcoidosis and tuberculosis. Chorea. Sydenham's chorea. Presence of chorea and encephalitis suggests rheumatic valvular disease or may get it. It is the involuntary movement, insidious in the beginning and become violent, sudden after emotional disturbance. Pathology. The tissues involved are the connective tissue like joints, muscles, tendons, heart valves, subcutaneous tissues and blood vessels are all affected. In the exudative stage, there is hyperemia, edema of collagen tissues and infiltration with leukocytes. Progress. The active and inactive forms are to be distinguished. Persistent activity is suggested by the presence of fever, tachycardia and anemia. Cardiac involvement known by raised ESR and ECG. Activity implies progressive damage to heart by rheumatic process, followed by few years, then contraction of fibrous tissue leads to deformity of involved valves, then may lead to heart failure. Investigations. TC, total count, differential count, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, C, reactive protein, electrocardiogram, ASO, titer, etc. A polymorph leukocytosis of 10,000 to 15,000 cells per cubic millimeter, hypochromic anemia may be present. ESR is raised and remains so at the as the evidence of activity of rheumatic process. ASO, anti-streptolysin O, titer raised to above 300 units, provided a recent infection with streptococci. Prevention. Care must be taken when there is strep throat or scarlet fever to prevent the relapse, as the relapse may lead to more damage to the heart, causing mitral or aortic stenosis. Fever in children with a large swelling of knees or any large joints should be taken care of by thorough examination. Relapse may be prevented by giving small dose of oral penicillin, phenoxymethylpenicillin 125 milligrams twice daily. If sensitive to penicillin, sulfonamide 500 milligrams daily may be given. Treatment. Rest. Rest in bed till the sleeping pulse rate, WBC, hemoglobin and weight comes to normal. Anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin and steroids are sometimes, and antibiotics like penicillin and sulfadicin or erythromycin for a long time to prevent a relapse of the infection. If heart is affected, long-acting penicillin are used lifelong, parenteral for life to prevent the further damage to the heart. Penicillin given for 7 to 10 days at the start of the disease till the symptoms subside. Thereafter, prophylactic penicillin should be given. If tonsillectomy is to be done, carried out after the acute stage has subsided. Salicylates. Salicylates are effective to combat the fever and pain. Acetyl salicylic acid, that is aspirin, is well tolerated and has a great analgesic effect. Aspirin soluble tablets are less liable to cause gastric irritation. Given every 2 hours in the first day and then 4 hourly with a double dose at night, continue till fever and symptoms controlled for 10 days and then gradually reduced. If there is a recurrence, the treatment is repeated. Prednisolone. Combination of prednisolone with salicylates in high dose is most effective for several severe cases. It does not have effect on long-term use. Convalescence. A suitable environment is required. The duration will depend on the length of preceding illness and presence of complications. Sequelae. Rheumatic fever is responsible for progressive cardiac damage even after the acute phase is over. In mitral and aortic valves, fibrosis and calcification of valves may lead to stenosis and regurgitation. Microcardial fibrosis may be the cause for heart failure. There may be latent period of 5 to 15 years between the acute phase and the cardiac symptoms. That's all about the rheumatic fever. And in the next video I will discuss about some other disease.